Riptide 2024 is currently happening, one of the biggest melee tournaments that we have every year. It's at a water park. I'd love to go one day. It looks incredible. What we're seeing on screen right now is a set that happened yesterday evening, which is Hungrybox versus Triff. This was someone winners, I think winners top 32, and this set has been the cause for some controversy, some very mild controversy. It doesn't seem to be attracting that many people, but maybe we're gonna change that today. So as you can see right now, this is Puff versus Peach on Dreamland. Triff lost the first game, Triff counterpicked Dreamland, and now, in this matchup, whoever has the lead usually is gonna be the one to try to not approach. Hbox is chasing a decent amount, and Triff is, playing the slower character, right? Puff can jump and is so much faster in the air, can move left and right in the air really quickly. Peach is a little bit faster at going up and down, especially up, just because Peach's full hop goes higher, but she only has her full hop and then her double jump, so she can't go, she can't stay in the air quite as long, or rather when she goes in the air and commits to her float, she has a harder time switching up directions. Now we see that Triff gets the lead. There's about 4 minutes left on the clock. We're watching this on much higher speed, of course, and by the end of it, it's going to end up being really close. I think I'll just skip forward a little bit so we can get to the juicy part. I just wanted to kind of show you the general vibe of what's going on here. Like, Triff has the lead right now. Triff goes to top platform, starts a float there, and then tries to slowly come down. Because whoever is above the opponent has the advantage here. Puff can't go up as high as Peach can when Peach starts her float on the top platform. But once Puff has the lead, Puff can basically do the same thing, right? Why this is an issue is because Melee is a game with great movement options, right? Melee is known for its amazing movement, and when you're on the ground, where you're actionable, you can do all of your attacks. You can do smash attacks, tilts, you can instantly do like short hop or full hop aerials, but if a character is able to just go into the air and stay there for so long, while also having such superior air mobility to pretty much any other character, it very, very much limits what you can be hit by. And other characters that just aren't as fast in the air just don't really have a way to catch you there, right? Because you can choose when you want to come down. If you drift to the left, the opponent has to go left to be able to get close to hitting you, but then you can just go to the right quicker than they can go to the right on the ground, and now you can come down pretty much safely. And other characters, when they commit to a jump, once they've jumped, if you manage to preempt that jump and go in a different direction, they're not going to be as fast in the air as you, so you can just, move away from them and then land somewhere where it's safe, get your resources back, and go back into the air. So this game, very hype right now. We see it's extremely close. Hbox has slowly clawed it back. Triff needs a strong hit to even it out, gets a good hit, and now we're gonna get to the nice part. I'm gonna skip forward just a little bit more to right here. All right, so there's 22 seconds left. Both players are at 140% exactly. We know that if the game ends in a timeout where both players have the same amount of stocks and percent, then it's gonna be a draw basically, and they're gonna replay it with one stock. But here, Hbox hits the up air at about 18 seconds left. Now Triff respawns. And now Hbox jumps off stage. There's 13.5 seconds left. He grabs ledge, so he gets invincibility for 30 frames, half a second, that's fine. And now, with 13 seconds left on the clock, Hungrybox goes under Dreamland. And now, he starts pounding. Puff can do a rising pound, where if you pound and then hold up during the pound, you angle the pound upwards, so you don't fall nearly as quickly as you regularly would. And he manages to stay in the air the entirety of the 13.5 seconds. And you see how Puff's faster in the air right here, so Hbox can just drift until the exact other side of the stage. Peach just cannot get there quickly enough in the air, and then the timer runs out, and Hbox wins the game, right? Because he's got one more stock than Triff. He's 140%, sure, but he does have that extra stock. You can even see right here that when Hbox goes under the stage, first Triff lands and then tries to mimic his movement on the ground, because Peach is slightly faster on the ground, so he runs to the left, but Hungrybox is the one who's in the air, who has control on where he wants to go. And it's kind of like when Puff is in the air above the top platform and the slow character is on the ground. If the slow character wants to catch Puff, they have to mimic her movement on the ground, so if Puff drifts to the right in the air, they have to run to the right. But if Puff's faster than you in the air, then you are on the ground. Once they see you go right, Puff can just go back to the left, and then you can't really chug their landing at all. Of course, some characters can somewhat do that, but it's still really hard to hit Puff, especially when you have to commit to jumping above a platform, because if you full hop or even double jump above the platform, Puff could also hit you, right? And then if they hit you, you've now gotten hit without your double jump, which means you could just lose your stock instantly. Whereas if you ever hit Jigglypuff out of the air, they're probably gonna have at least one jump left. And even if they don't, because the air drift is so strong and they can drift so far in the air, even without any jumps, it's probably not gonna be that bad for them if they get hit out of the air. So Hbox goes under the stage, goes for a total of 13 pounds, I think. And then he's able to barely avoid the last aerial from Triff. Triff went for a back air because he wanted to take Hbox stock instantly, because then if Hbox loses the stock right away, he's at 1 stock 0%, and Triff is as well. Triff was hoping that this back air connects, Hbox loses the stock, and then the timer runs out, so that the game ends with both players at exactly 1 stock 0%. Triff misses, loses his stock a couple frames before the game was about to end anyways, and that's that. Alright, so why are people, or what's the discourse here? So during this set, while the set was still going on, Triff made a tweet saying, "Side B spam Hbox versus me was 100% a ban." Alright, so that's exactly what he's talking about. These side Bs, these rising pounds Hbox was doing, Triff thinks should be, or rather, should disqualify him from the tournament. I'm not sure if he's saying that what Hbox did should be banned by the rules, or if he's saying that what Hbox did is already banned by the rules, and that's what we're going to look at right now. So first of all, we're going to look at Puff's rising pounds, so the side Bs Hbox was doing that kept him in the air for a long time. If Puff does frame perfect rising pounds, she can stay in the air for a very long time. So here Puff does one full hop and then starts doing rising pounds, and those keep her in the air for about 20 seconds, maybe a bit more. Now if you consider that Puff has way more jumps to use in the air still, and then combine those with even more pounds, Puff can easily stay in the air just from leaving the ground once, especially when you leave the ground from a top platform and then just keep doing these pounds. You can stall for minutes, like just off of leaving the ground once, and move into areas where opponents just cannot hit you because they can't go that high up. Or even if they can, they might have to use so many resources for it that if they hit you, they just deal 13% to you with one aerial, and if they get hit, Jigglypuff just carries you off stage with multiple aerials. Is this overpowered? I don't know. Maybe if someone abuses it super hard, potentially. Probably not though. But does it need to be overpowered to be banned? I don't think so. Lots of things in Melee have been banned despite not being overpowered, right? There's characters who have techniques that didn't make them overpowered that we still deem to be uninteractive and boring and not fun to watch or play against that we banned, and that's pretty much the same thing that's happening here, in my opinion at least. So this is what rising pound looks like, and Triff was saying that this should be banned. Alright, so what do the rules actually say? This is the riptidestart.gg page. If you scroll down all the way and go to the Melee rule set, you see that the Smash World Tour rule set for Melee is linked here. And clicking on this was an experience that I've had many times, because I feel like I'm the only person who ever looks at Melee rule sets, because I want to make sure their wobbling ban rules and the wording of it is correct, so that I don't end up having any problems at tournaments. When you click on this link right here, you end up on this arrow page, because it links to the Smash World Tour website, which I think doesn't exist anymore, because Smash World Tour isn't a thing anymore. However, I did manage to find an archived version of that page, which is right here. So this is where we are, Smash World Tour official rulebook. And then, so it talks about the tournaments that exist. If we go into stalling rules, we're gonna end up right here. So this is the procedural rules, and the stalling rules is stalling or excessively delaying the game or match may result in a game or match forfeit at the discretion of TOs. In Melee, players may stall for the purposes of waiting out particular transformation of Pokemon Stadium. Stalling must end when the neutral transformation returns, as indicated by the icon shown on the in-game screen. Okay, that's something, right? Let's see if there's anything else here. Nope, doesn't seem like it. Just another thing about Pokemon Stadium. Same thing again, same thing. Cool, that's it. This is all the rules that exist for this. Some tournaments explicitly ban pound stalling, though I wasn't able to find any rule sets of majors that do this, though I know of a lot of regionals that excessively just state pound stalling is banned. But what does that even mean? When is it pound stalling and when is Jigglypuff just trying to recover? because sometimes Jigglypuff gets hit so low, close to the bottom blast zone, that they have to use multiple rising pounds to try to make it back onto the stage. And if they have to use 4 or 5 pounds just to make it back up to the ledge, just to try to recover, is that pound stalling? So we could technically set a limit on Jigglypuff is only allowed to use pound 3 times in the air, for example. That could work. It would remove some of the situations where Puff would otherwise be able to recover and force her to lose her stock there. Are we okay with that? In my opinion, that's worth thinking about. Wouldn't necessarily be an awful thing. Arbitrarily nerfing the character that way sucks for Puff players, but if there's no other ways to limit that kind of air stalling, then maybe that's necessary. So yeah, that is what the rules say. The rules say that stalling or delaying the game or match may result in a game or match forfeit. Was HBox delaying the game or match that way? I don't know, it probably would have gone to time anyways. Was Triff stalling by, floating above the top platform? You could honestly argue it, but I think what HBox did at the end was the most egregious thing, where clearly there was no way for Peach to hit him with everything that Peach could try. He was just fully, unable to be hit, which is a win condition to play for, right? If you know that these are the rules, then I respect going for it. I just think that the rules should be adjusted in a way where this is accounted for properly. Cool. So let's see what else people said here. This response right here to Triff's tweet says, I like you, Triff, but bro, HBox pushed the whole game and did it the last 10 seconds. I don't know about a ban here. And then Triff says, judging the rules by the vibes is actually insane to me. I agree with that. The rules saying that excessively stalling or excessively delaying the game or match is banned. Who decides when that is, right? Do you just need someone who really hates floaties to just call a Peach or Puff player out on this? Because those are the two main characters who can stay in the air and who have the aerial drift and just the tools available to stay in the air for so long. Do you need a TO who hates those characters to enforce it? That doesn't seem fair. So Triff saying that was literally pound stalling and should be banned, probably. Then someone responds, the rules are against excessive pound stalling, not just pound stalling. 15 seconds isn't excessive at all. Okay, how are we gonna rule excessive, right? That just is the same problem again, right? If HBox did it even better, if he did the pound stalling even better, he might not have even had to lose his stock after, right? We just saw that Puff can stall for about 20 seconds only using 1 jump with pounds. So he could have stalled even longer just off of 1 jump under the stage and then still had plenty of jumps left to make it back to the stage, right? So that's, I think, what we should be accounting for. Not this one situation where HBox did it in a way where he was going to lose his stock after, because why not, right? He knew he had enough time to stall and not lose the stock. There is a situation where you could do that as Puff and then just, be safe. Again, does this need to be broken? Like, can you argue, all right, Puff needs this for some matchups to be able to win those matchups? I don't think that's a good reason. There have been things we've banned that other characters needed to play a matchup that was still losing, but we still took away those techniques, even though the matchups went from losing to even worse for the character, right? So needing something to win a matchup is, in my opinion, not the greatest argument, because if that thing that you need to win the matchup is deemed as uninteractive, not fun to watch, not fun to play against, and just removes core aspects of the game, like, putting yourself in a position where, 75 or 80% of your opponent's character's moves can never really hit you, except for the 3 times during a minute where you're forced to land. I don't think that's a great argument. All right, then the good question here is, what about you floating in neutral over the top platform, Triff? That's what you were doing all game. Triff responds, I'll be 100% down to ban top platform camping in any matchup. I think that shows that this makes sense, right? Because the rules don't necessarily just ban the pound stalling, they just ban stalling or excessively delaying the result of the game. And if a character is just not just on the top platform, but above the top platform most of the time, I think this makes sense. Let's say a fox is dash dancing on the top platform, that's really annoying, but they're gonna be on the top platform, right? You can go up there and fight them on the top platform. But if a character is able to go onto the top platform and then stay even higher than that for a long amount of time, especially a character who can go on the top platform, jump from there, and then drift left or right in the air really far and stay there for a long time, where you can really only get hit by someone going to the top platform and then doing a full hop aerial at you. I think that just removes so many tools from the like just from the game, if you can only get hit by full hop double jump aerials from certain characters, that I think that's ban-worthy. You know, a fox dash dancing on top platform, we could also argue about that being ban-worthy, but a fox who's dash dancing on the top platform, at least you can grab them on there. You can hit them with a smash attack on there. Because once they jump on the top platform, what are they going to do? They have to come down eventually, right? They can't stay in the air for 5 to 10 seconds. They're going to jump, and then they're going to fall down again because they fall so quickly and they only have one jump they can use in the air, whereas Peach or Puff can jump on the top platform and then float or use a bunch of their jumps and maybe even a rising pound to stay in the air for such a long time that they just remove the ability of the opponent to hit them with most of their moves. Cool. Again, does this have to be broken or unbeatable for it to be ban-worthy? I don't think so. We've banned things that weren't broken or unbeatable just because we found them unengaging, uninteractive, unfun to watch, unfun to play against. So, yeah. So, Drifts ask, why are you going to Dreamland? Good response question. Is it legal to pound stall on Dreamland? The stage probably shouldn't matter. Of course, on FD it's different, where someone can't just like go to a top platform and reset their resources there, where instead they might have to land on the ground or grab the ledge to get them back. This on FD, arguably Peach isn't an issue because Peach can only get her resources back on the ground or by going to the ledge, and if Peach goes to the ledge, she doesn't get her float back. Jigglypuff gets all her jumps back when she grabs the ledge. Peach also gets her double jump back when she grabs the ledge, but she does not get her float back. And without her float, she can't really stay in the air for long, and if Peach gets hit out of the air without her float, she can lose her stocks really quickly, right? She doesn't drift as quickly in the air as Puff does, and yeah, without the float, she's just kind of falling down slowly and has a pretty hard time landing. Like, being above a Marth without a double jump as Peach, and without a float, like, good luck ever making it back down onto the stage. You're probably just going to be able to make it to the ledge, where you get your double jump back, but you don't have any good ledge options, and you can't float anymore. Alright, the rest of this is just coping and the poll results of the campiest SSPM ranked player in the world, where Triff won, which sure, Triff might be a slow player, but I like the fact that Triff is bringing up the fact that we have rules that should be enforced, and also bringing up the fact that there are additions to those rules that are worth considering. Okay, so again, how do we ban this? What do we actually do to make sure that this doesn't happen in real matches anymore? Of course, there is like a potential just for a pound limit. There have been talks about an airtime limit that we can think about, of just like how much time in the air can characters spend. Luckily, the game tracks airtime for us. In the post-match results screen, there's like little fun facts about you, like how many jumps you did, or like how many smash attacks you did. It also tracks how much time you spent in the air, and that would be worth looking at, right? Problems with that would be Jigglypuff is going to spend most of her time in the air anyways, even when she's trying to fight and even when she's, you know, closer to center stage. Just trying to approach, you're going to have to use the air because your grounded options suck so much. So if opponents just time you out and you're trying to chase after them and you're doing it around ground height but slightly above the ground, would you just lose every game because you're in the air for so much? That doesn't seem right. So there has to be something here, right? Like, there has to be some sort of objective measurement of when is someone stalling in the air. When are they like literally just running away, and not just running away, but running away in a position where they cannot get hit by the majority of attacks from the opponent. Like, even if the opponent was close to them, there's only like certain areas they could get hit by. Whereas a fox who's running away on the ground, yes, that sucks, and it's annoying to play against, but you can get there. And especially against a character like Fox, you only have to hit them a few times to take their stock, because once you do hit them, it means a lot, right? If the Fox is running away from you, they're gonna have to run into the corner, where if they get hit, they only have a double jump and then their up B or side B to recover. Of course, there's more mix-ups than that, but you can realistically take the stock from calling them out once. Whereas a Jigglypuff at 0% floating above a top platform, or a Peach at 0% floating wherever Triff is right now, like, most characters cannot realistically hit them there in a way that, like, does something for them that isn't net negative risk reward for those characters. And should the game balance, like, be of concern here, like those characters becoming worse or less viable? Maybe to an extent, but I don't think it will ruin either of these characters if we have stricter rules on how long you can stay in the air and yeah, how you're supposed to come down from there. Okay, So what are my solutions? I don't know exactly. I think an airtime limit could work. I think a hard limit on how many pounds you can do in the air would be a good start. Like just make it like 4 or something. That would help in these kind of situations. It would also help people from just, stalling excessively off stage just for the sake of gaining time, which is something like once we have a clear rule, and Puff players know they can do 4 pounds, they might just use that, right? Because now they know exactly what the rule is. Right now it's ambiguous, so they might be afraid of, just when there's 6 minutes left on the clock, going above the top platform, pounding 4 times and then coming down again. Once they know the rule, they might start doing that, and then we can get more serious with it and be like, all right, now that you know the rule, you're using it even harder, so let's make it even more strict. Or let's figure out something else. I personally still think a lower timer would be good, and then punishing like airtime more, because sure, there's some matchups where the games just take that long, so maybe a lower timer is a bad idea in the sense that lots of Peach versus Marth games will take 6 minutes or longer, even if both players are trying to fight, just because Marth can't KO as easily, and Peach has a very, very hard time getting meaningful hits in neutral. But yeah, that is basically what I think here. I think something can be done here, and if we think about it really hard in combination with like a stricter ledge grab limit and maybe even an airtime limit that maybe only applies on timeout, maybe even applies when there's no timeout, that could work. Yeah, but that's what I think. I think characters playing in a way where they're somewhere where they can only be hit by one certain move that is really hard to land, that doesn't do much if you hit them with it, and that loses your own stock if you miss, which is very likely. I don't think that's a fun or interactive way to play the game. I think it removes lots of aspects of the neutral game, and we have precedent for banning stuff that we just find annoying or uninteractive or unfun to play against, so that this isn't something that I'm fully against with the stuff we've already banned. Cool, yeah, so let me know what you think. Let me know what solutions you can think of. I don't think this is a huge issue. I just think that it's something that makes some of these matchups more annoying than they need to be. And it just turns a lot of already winning matchups into so winning that you don't really have to think much about stuff anymore, because you always know that if you're ever unsure, if you feel like you're getting outplayed, you can just run away in a way that, yeah, removes so many of the neutral game aspects of Melee that makes the game so beautiful, which I don't love. Cool, let me know what you think, and let me know if you feel like Triff had a point when he was tweeting like he's doing right now on screen. Cool, goodbye.